Don't know how this is going to end once Dave defeats the evil king, if he does anyway. Does he stay here or does he go back to his world? Or, I don't know, but anyway. So, it seems like the current situation in Arborea is getting to Ray, and he's tired of it. He just wishes everything can end and he can live peacefully with his friends, and Dave also wishes that, and he told Ray that his world's really no more different than Ray's world, with everything's going on. So we'll just have to see how everything ends. So thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye. Hello. Today we were playing. It was Advent. We're going to start day 13 for Alex. After returning from the bathroom, you heard the crystal communicator beeping for your nightstand. Going over to it, you answer immediately, hearing the static laced voice on the other end. Hello? Dave, are you up yet? Oh, Alex, I was just about done getting ready. Good. Look, Max and I are loading my equipment into the carriage. Can you save us a spot in the canteen? Sure thing, I'll be down in a jiffy. Want me to order something for you guys too? Yeah, I don't care what you get there. Just do it. You made your way from the dorms to the honeysuckle. Inside was the usual morning crowd enjoying the breakfast, with a few exceptions. Behind the counter coating Tensai, a man in the kitchen, the bear furiously tending to the steaming pots and pans, and the canine served the floor along with the snow leopard. Hey Dave, over here. You heard Ray calling from a booth in the corner of the restaurant. Come on, save the table for all of us. And a seat just for you. He patted on his lap, invited you in with open arms. That's all right, Ray. I'll just take a seat over here. He gave the dragon a secret smile as you sit opposite of him. Alright, suit yourself. So are you excited for the trip? A little nervous, actually. Had a dream last night that told me to be careful. A dream, huh? After what we witnessed there last time, I'd say that's a good idea, right? Yeah, it's alright, Dave. It's just whatever. Oh, they're here. You noticed Max and Alex as they walked into the honeysuckle together. You both waved at them to let them know where you were. Dave, why? Good morning. Max, Al. Morning. You helped yourself to a few pancakes when you noticed Alice had stopped eating entirely. Lynx was still tapping away at a phone at another device you recognized from the lab. Alex, the food will get cold if you leave it in the syrup like that. Did you say something, Dave? What's got you so distracted? Oh, just trying to sort out some last minute notes before we head out. You were talking about that earlier. Did something happen? Why, the previous evening there must have been some minor system crash that completely corrupted all data transfers and left queued up. Damn, all of them? Unfortunately, it usually takes a few hours to get everything set up. If it doesn't finish before we leave, I'll have to manually set it up once we get there. Well, as long as you can still do what you need to do there, right? Yeah, there's no problem about that. Just make things go quicker if it's ready before we leave. I'm surprised that this happened, Alex. You're usually more careful about these things. Well, I decided to get a proper night's rest last night. That's why I left it queued up overnight. That's great, Alex. And if it's going to take a while, why don't you eat for now? Yeah, Cody, prepare this neat little meal for us, Al. So at least save it with us. Hmm. I suppose that's I suppose there's no harm in that. I'm mostly monitoring the transfers right now, making sure none of the queues fails again. That's the spirit. You'll love Cody's pancakes. It tastes as good as it looks. I mean, I've never been one to doubt the quality of the cooking. In that case, do you really need that much syrup on top? I think it tastes fine enough as is. That's just how I like my pancakes. Yeah, very typical of Al. Says the one who obsesses over boiled sausages. Hey, nothing bad about loving meat, right, Max? Well, yeah, I agree, Mac. Meat is the best for any meal on the day. Wow. Wow, indeed. Once all you clean your plates, you join Cody in stacking your plates and cutlery back onto the tray. Master excused himself out to get the carrots ready. Alice also followed suit. It was then that the German Shepherd and his snow leopard went by to help. Oh, thank you, AS-10. We're about to leave soon. I mean no offense, sir, but I suppose it's high time everyone got going. We're expecting another crowd rustle in soon, and this booth could be another group of customers served. Uh, Y'all learn to ask for who quickly gather all the stacks of plate to bring back to the kitchen. He must be in a hurry, I suppose. Indeed, he's been clocking out rather early for his morning self. Can I trust you to hold the fort yet again, Ten? Always, boss. You can leave it to me. Just go ahead with your companions. Yeah, thank you. Alright, let's go, guys. Yep. Y'all joined up with Alice on the field outside while Max was still away preparing the carrots at the stables. Hmm. I think I'll take the rear seat. Oh, mind if I sat with you, Cody? Uh-huh. I guess it's fine, yeah? Sweet. Alright, let's go then. Well, I'll take the camera. You coming with, Dave? Oh, sure. Oh, sure, yeah. Everyone ready? Everything looks good back here. Yeah, we got the rear. Ready when you are, Max. Alright, yeah. Max spurred on the hose as they began to trot their way out of the city. As you rode through the city streets, you saw a few other carriages heading heading in the opposite direction, carrying what appeared to be furniture and luggage. You wondered if those were the same people planning to leave the city for a place they deemed safer out there, all because they no longer trusted in the guild and Lisa's protection. There were still many shops and stalls still in business, houses with residents dwelling about, but everything felt just that bit quieter, just enough to be noticeable. It did not take long before you exit the city onto the farmlands on the outer edges of the Crystal Coast. The ride was noticeably bumpier than the one from Elisa's cabin at Crystal Coast. You gripped onto the leather seat as it shook about slightly. The holes seemed unaffected despite having their legs firmly on the ground. It must have been about an hour or so into the ride. The intensity in the atmosphere made it hard to keep track of time. Maybe that was why you hadn't noticed the low humming from behind you. The comforting low hum lured you in as the words Alice began to mutter beside you blended seamlessly into it. You couldn't help but try to match their course as the checkpoint slowly came into view over the hill. As they arrived at the checkpoint, the guys wasted no time dismounting the car from the carriage while Max guided the hose toward the checkpoint's stable. Ray, on the other hand, headed straight into the office to get the permit validated before you all could head further in. You carried the tune well, Dave. Oh, you heard me? Not really hard, no. I could just feel your vibe with us. Shit, I don't see why you three insisted on singing that old Martian cadence. What do you mean, Alex? You were singing along as well. What? I didn't know such thing. It was nice. Kind of reminds me of when we used to sing in the car on our way back from conventions. The two gave you odd looks as they taken what you said. Hey, car, you say? Is that like your phone? The Lynx looked at you somewhat starry-eyed and expectantly to get a head start on another invention. Cody, for his part, seemed wide-eyed and concerned. Conventions? You were summoned to participate in conventions? I know I wasn't summoned for it. I went willingly. Before you could clarify what you were talking about, Ray and Max returned with your permits in hand. They each took one of the straps meant to attach to the hooves' harnesses before pulling the cart along. It stepped out of its way as it jostled lightly upon crossing the threshold into the forest. Alex, however, refused to give up the chase for his curiosity and press you on the topic some more. And what of that car you mentioned? What sort of vehicle is it? You are unsure whether to answer the Lynx in earnest or just make something up for the sake of it. Yet already you've let it slip of the various concerts you've been to during those conventions, which by then even Ray had grown curious. Oh, now I want to hear what kind of music you used to sing to. Maybe we can hit up a band when we get back. And you said the convention was like our festival, right? You didn't elaborate on that. Guys, don't bother Dave like that if he doesn't want to answer those questions. Max, on the other hand, scolded from the front, still focused on guiding the group with Ray. It's alright. I've actually been thinking about where I came from recently. It was only one thing you said, and they already had a lot of questions. What should you start with? He finally gave in to Alex's begging and talked more about cars in broad terms at least. To your memory, Carl did own a car that the two of you would ride in whenever you had to go distant places off campus. You noticed Max and Cody wincing when you described the vehicle as a self-propelled carriage without the need for hose. You wonder why they seemed so taken aback when Alex informed you of the people's previous experiments on self-propelling carriages. Despite being able to sustain itself mid-air, the hover pads have nothing to pivot on, so whenever the carriage is propelled by the wind crystals, it would tailspin endlessly like a canoe on rapids. It then went into more general details about the lack of hover functionality in your car and the reliance of wheels as rudders. Needless to say, it went over the heads of everyone else, but Alex seemed to hang off your every word, already sketching crude schematics based on your descriptions. It gave you a limited overview of car make and models, and while they hadn't much to say, everyone seemed to enjoy hearing about something new. You then went into more general details about the lack of hover functionality in your car and the reliance of wheels as rudders. Needless to say, it went over the heads of everyone else, but Alex seemed to hang off your every word, already sketching crude schematics based on your descriptions. It gave you a limited overview of car make and models, and while they hadn't much to say, everyone seemed to enjoy hearing about something new. You decided to not elaborate any further, to which the others promptly left you be as soon as they got the hint. Oh, we're here. You slow down as the crew arrives upon the clearing at the base of the Kai. Whoa. You stare up in awe at a towering tree that sprouted crystals from its bark and branches like fungus. Each crystal seemed to glow in a multicolor range the further up the tree you looked. You'll get used to the view. Alright, let's go over our task again, shall we? What is everyone doing? Let me go have a look around the immediate perimeter. Make sure no one's lurking out there for us again. I need to set up the ATN around the tree's base. The sooner they're in place, the quicker we can get our results. I clear out a section for the tents and start the fire pit. Good, all that leaves is getting the rest of our equipment out of the car. Dave, take these and follow me closely. As you approach, Alex passes you a rucksack full of stakes, topped with a small polyhedron crystal mounted on a gyroscope. What are these? Stakes from my Harmony Trace network, something I developed based on the GC's blueprint. Put one here. Alan gestured to an arbitrary point in the ground near one of the tree's roots, powder in the survey stake firmly in place. So how do these things work exactly? You still remember how maze functions, do you? They're like wavelengths, right? More or less. The Akai and the GC function on one such wavelength can cause harmony, and it tunes to the other crystal elements and rejects anything that can't harmonize with it, such as nether and nether infected creatures. One here. You pound it in another stake in the ground. Since we cannot sample the tree directly or rely on man-made semantics like the GC, we need to do some prep work by setting up a resonance grid. Didn't you ask Max a way to get samples from the tree, though? I did. And like normal flora, sometimes crystals lose luster like a tree branch that inevitably dries up, so it's necessary to cut them down. At least that's what Ray's told me based on his gardening experience. One more here. We stuck another stake in the ground as directed. So what does the resonance grid do? Well, it's supposed to act like a multi-armed balance, if that makes sense to you. Alex lets out an exasperated sigh before giving you an amused smirk. That kind should be able to maintain resonance with each marker, meaning that it should all stay in balance like a market scale. If there's something wrong with the Akai, or if there's dissonance, it will result in a natural repellent feeling. He only pointed to the next spot as you complied wordlessly. That's also what keeps all the crystal technology within the city working as efficiently as it does, sharing their resonance with the GC. So what does that mean for the GC itself? That's what we're here to find out. You and Alex finished planting the rest of the stakes, going over his portable lab setup to collaborate the markers as the links began taking the tree's readings. Once it's ready, everyone. You heard Cody call out for the campsite. It's about time. I was feeling peckish. You and Alice dropped what you were doing and gathered around the fire pit. Just like him, you were also feeling hungry despite the hearty breakfast you had. You took a seat on one of the crates that used to house Alex's equipment while Max and Alex sat nearby. As Ray returned from his surveillance and sat down close by, Cody began serving you all lunch. Cool. You decided to set the bars aside for the moment as you took up the bowl while it was still warm. Scooping and serving into your spoon, you couldn't help but fixate on how the whole white glob just jiggled ominously as you bring it to your mouth. You had to hold back your gag reflex as the slimy texture clung to the roof of your mouth like some kind of demonic peanut butter. You had spat it out if it didn't taste fantastic. You took another spoonful after a moment, this time around realizing that it didn't have any particular smell. The taste was somewhere between sweet, savory, and salty. This is actually really good. What is this? is an instant soup mix that Alex helped me develop. Minimal CX-257 is used as a meal preservative for long distance travels. You sprinkle it over any food to dehydrate it and then stew it to rehydrate. It keeps for days outside refrigeration. The only issue has been that the texture gets mangled. At least it still tastes the same as a original dish with all the same nutrients. Same great taste, none of the joy. At least it still tastes the same as the original dish with all the same nutrients. Same great taste, none of the joy. Maybe someday we'll get it right. Until then, you'll just have to make it fresh for us. I guess there's no helping it. Alright, Ryan and I will go out and hunt some game meat for dinner and breakfast tomorrow. We will stay here to keep watch over the tree and the weedings. Stay in contact with your phones. They still work out here? Without Kai functioning like the GC things that worked in the city should work as they stood here, at least in theory. You stay behind watching Max and Ray that part together for the woods, bickering and bantering as they cross the tree line. Out of sight, those two never changed, did they? Not one bit, still as boneheaded as ever. I'm heading back to the tree to keep track of the crystal readouts. Call me if anything comes up, Cody. Same to you, Alex. If you think something's off, come and get me right away. Do you need my help, Alex? Yes, following shortly behind Alex, leaving Cody to stoke the embers in the fire pit, trying to figure out his cooking rare. Nothing too taxing this time, Dave. I still need to finish collaborating the machine. As I said during breakfast, I didn't get all the data sets I needed, so the rest will have to be aligned manually. Though it would help to have you nearby should I need anything as usual. Sure thing, I won't leave your side. Right. Take up that pad there and be ready to take notes as I tell you. You step by the Lynx's side as he manually turned the crystals before tightening them on each stake. You notice how not every one of those crystals are left in the same rotation compared to the others. So, what are you doing there exactly? Collaborating the receptors for the network. He spoke flatly, as if it were self-explanatory. What do the crystals actually do? You remember that crystals require a particular cut and polish for specific uses, correct? Right. Magic catalysts and industrial-grade crystals need to be cut to the right size, shape, and polished for them to do their function. Didn't think you still remember. Yes, the crystals inside these nodes are actually throwaway crystals that could not be cut into usable states. Their structure is too unstable and cannot be resonated with for extended periods of time. Are they that useless that they break otherwise? Thankfully, nothing that volatile. However, their conductive coefficient is too low, meaning that Arborians and machines would need to frequently resonate with the crystals. That's just highly inefficient and opportune, but they aren't entirely without uses. These stake things, we do have multiple other applications for them. However, for today's purposes, yes, these crystals have been cut to maximize this resonant sensitivity to every element depending on the rotation and phrasing of the crystal. That's what I'm doing right now. As he finished with one node, Alex recited a series of information he couldn't understand aside from jotting it down word for word in the data pad. The interface was somewhat similar to the one Alex had designed for the phone. The rest of it was marginally alien to you still. Thankfully, all the time you spent in the lab gave you just enough experience to draw upon how to use it. The rest of the nodes went about the same. You stood by silently as Alex would manually turn the gyros to the proper orientation. Once it had all been set up, you both returned to the campsite, whereupon Alex booted up the machine he had brought from the lab. Afterwards, the screen popped up with all the readings from the nodes coming in. And that's it, right? That's all we needed to do. Yes, now all that's left to watch the readings and wait until a pattern emerges. That's it. The world of science isn't always adventurous, Dave. There's going to be days where you just sit around and parse data all day long. Uh-huh. You spend the next few minutes documenting the readings, the symbols and graphs on the screen only vaguely making sense to you. If everything that you come to understand, you started musing aloud to Alex. You said that Akai works in a similar way to the GC and that my elemental power is similar to them, right, Alex? He didn't tear his eyes away from the monitor as he responded. In theory, the purifying nature of Aether comes from its ability to influence the elements into its harmonic state. None too dissimilar to nether corruption, the element is left unaffected but its state are turned dissonant as opposed to harmonic. Alex pointed to the monitor for you to look at the fluctuating graphs. The Akai in the GC has the ability to resonate with every element at once. Is this that we call an elemental harmony? Like in music where the instruments play together? You can put it that way. Historians argue that crystal resonance actually influenced early music in Arborea. Though that avenue has already been explored, and it turns out that music doesn't actually influence magic crystals. All the actual resonance required is outside the audible range. And that's what maze is for? Correct. So how can we resonate with everything? Well, your powers are only a fraction as strong as the synthetic ethers that the tree and GC provide. So you can only resonate with one elemental at a time. Yeah, try resonating with this. He held up one of the nodes he had planted around the Akai's roots earlier. Do I just do what I did last time? Yes, exactly as you've done before. Focus on the crystal and the tip and send your maze field towards it. You did as you were told, closing your eyes and focusing on the crystal in Alex's hand. You hesitated for a moment, recalling the disturbing images you saw when resonating with Alex. Wait, when I resonate with you, I have the picture of what I know about you. How do I know that with a crystal? I'll let you test it for yourself. Test it for yourself. Alex gives you a smug smile with a twinkle of curiosity in his eyes, tail lazily lasting behind him as he awaits. What do you choose to envision? Say envision the crystal. You took one last look at the crystal before closing your eyes, envisioning it in your mind's eyes. Push aside any other thought, you kept the crystal within view and extended your arm out to it. You could hear the crystal turning quietly within the dome as the image in your mind changed in turn. In the absence of conversation, you started becoming aware of your surroundings. The slow hum from the equipment, the light crackling of the fire pit, the rustling trees in the distance, Alex's steady breaths. You try to push those from your mind, as well as the images that could begin to pollute your thoughts. When you brought the crystal back into view, you no longer remember what it looked like. The glass sphere spun around shapelessly. You rack your brain for the memory of the crystal. A vague shape starts to form in your vision as you reach out to it. That should be enough. You can open your eyes, Dave. How'd I do? Great, see for yourself. He handed you the node, 2 indicators showing where the gyro had been locked in place. Aside from the orientation of the crystal, there wasn't much you could tell from it. It moved? Indeed it did. Who did you envision? No one. I just focused on the crystal on its own. Interesting. It did behave strangely for a while before settling on the electro indicator, although I do have a theory as to why that may be. Yeah? There was an old theory on sympathetic resonance. People existed in harmony before the creation of the guardian crystal. Our maze fields aren't strong enough to cast magics of other elements we're not attuned to, but we still influence the world around us through more than our magic, but being in each other's presence. You probably had time to observe trace amounts of the other's maze recently. That's right, we hadn't actually talked that much since I first got here. After testing the GC was when we started moving as a group. Precisely. Invaluable as always, my loyal test subject. Glad I could give you some ideas, Alex. But why did it do that? Remember how I said that these garbage crystals aren't without their uses? They can still be utilized for identification purposes. Normally, the guild uses them to help develop new members foresee by gauging their elemental affinities. Other times we use them to identify crystals in the field to make sure we exercise caution when approaching them. Haphazard handling of unidentified raw elemental crystals can cause an energy burst if not handled properly. Is that the same power that Ray has? Yes, Ray possesses specific attunement to the vibrations of crystals most dragons do, akin to Max's elemental sense of smell. For our purposes here, they transmit at what rate the Akai is harmonizing with each crystal calibrated to a different element. But we put down more than 4 states. There are more than 4 elements. You thought that we made up the core basic elements? I don't have a whole lot to go off of. Fair enough, yes, aside from earth, ice, lightning, and fire, there are 3 other elements. What would the other 3 be? Let's say water, wind, and light. Water, wind, and light? That's correct, actually. Most water users come from Atlantia and per capita. Avians tend to gravitate to wind, in some special cases for those with photomancy. But that's just by majority, right? Anyone could have an affinity for them. Aside from light, yes, water and wind are just as common among Arborians and every other element to Atlanteans and Avians. It's one of the key unifying elements that's helped make Crystal Coast a crossroads of cultures that is, aside from the GC, of course. I see. Let's get back to work. It'll take twice as long to get these readings into usable data if I let it backlog like this. Oh, you're right. You both returned to watching and documented the graphs, highlighting the particular spikes and abnormal readings. Alice occasionally rounded the tree to ensure the crystals remained properly calibrated and dispersed with the typical muses you had in the lab. Aside from the change in scenery, it was a comforting familiarity. Ow, Dave, we're back. Hold on time. I was starting to feel hungry. Will it be alright to leave it running by itself? It should be fine. With your help, we've managed to keep the backlog to a minimum. Others made his way back to the fire pit where Cody greeted Max and Ray, taking the large carcasses from them. Oh, that's a lot of meat. You cover your mouth as soon as you realize what you said in front of who. Oh, a fellow meat lover, after all, Dave. There's more meat where it comes from, if you want some. Wait, you caught something else, right? Are you hiding it? Pull it out and show us. What? Wait, you want my meat too, Max? Finally figured out what you were missing out on, huh? Cody walked up to Ray, taking the deer-like carcass from his hands. Unbelievable, why? Even in front of the dead, you can't be respectful. But, Max, you said... You may have bet if you caught a small game animal, that would have been the tiebreaker. Oh, so that's how it is. So close yet so far. You made a bet? Yep. Loser gets first night watch. Whoever caught the biggest hunt wins. By the looks of it, you both caught a big one each. This ain't everything. We need to weigh 'em. Did you bring a scale, Cody? Why would I do that? We only brought the essentials. I haven't even thought of that. You both went through the trouble to make a bet and didn't even thinking this through. Hey, we got the meat though, right? That's all that matters. I agree. All that matters is we've got a lot of meat to last us a while. I'll say we should have plenty for dinner. We should have enough for dinner, breakfast, and some leftovers for the pantry. Can we count on you to take care of the rest of the carving, Cody? Leave it to me. You two should go wash off the blood and sweat. Can do. You won't be long. Stay alert. William Max grabbed the small washcloth from the cart before heading back in the direction of the river you see on the way here. You two should go wash up as well. Is that really necessary? I mean, seeing that you both have been hard at work, I don't see why not. But, well, I mean, it might help. I don't know. Cody avoided eye contact with Alex, looking to you instead. Could you go and fetch me a jug of water anyway, just from the stream down the way? Shouldn't be deep enough to get it filled. I'll need to wash off too once I'm done here. Oh, okay, sure thing, Cody. Thanks, Dave. I'll call everyone over once dinner is ready. Okay, it won't take long, Alex. I'll be right back. Let's get going our way. You started walking in the direction Max and Ray took, jug in hand. The path is well trodden, making it easy to find your way through the trees and underbrush back to the log bridge laid over a small river. Kneeling down, you dig the jug into the water and let it fill to the brim once the air bubbles finish escaping. Sitting aside the jug, you look down at your reflection, taking in your canine features again since that day at Lisa's. Cupping your hands into the water, you splash it over your fur, rubbing out what amount of gunk you can. The water was refreshing to feel, the day's fatigue finally catching up to you. Sitting down on the gravel shore, you watch the water flow under the bridge, lost in thought. Now that you had a better understanding of this world, with Alex's help, you couldn't help but wonder about what he hadn't told you about. Crystals, magic energy, elements, resonance, harmony, never corruption. You shake your head, trying to put off the thoughts. Ignorance really is bliss. How does Alex handle all this? Handle all what? Ah, Alex, I didn't expect you to actually come with. I suppose I can't fault you for thinking that, but still, Cody insisted I come wash up and to make sure you didn't wander off and get into trouble. Yeah, well, I was just sitting here, no way for me to get into trouble like that. Yes, well, you've certainly been a magnet for trouble recently. And with Ray's report of nether creatures in the forest, I wouldn't chance it. Do you not trust Ray's report about the Akai's defenses? Of course I do, but I still won't run that risk. Even science isn't so exact. Alice didn't let you dwell on the matter too long, taking off his uniform jacket, leaving only his tank top. Alice, what are you doing? I'm washing up. It's just a hassle to get my clothes wet. The lynx knelt next to the river beside you, covering his hands and washing his face thoroughly. With how much water he was splashing around, it made sense now why he took off his uniform. Shaking off the excess, he stood up, inviting you to follow along. Hey, Alex, your uniform. Bring it with you. You scrambled to your feet, grabbing the jug while scooping out Alex's uniform in your other arm. What were you muttering to yourself back there? I was just thinking about all this crystal resonance business. What about it? Just started to really sink in everything you told me about it. It makes me dizzy to think about it all. I was wondering how you managed to do all this without getting mixed up. Mixed up? I guess since it's still all so new to you, it all makes your head spin, doesn't it? You've essentially taken the crash course, the crystal cosmology, without any of the basics. But well, I mean, does it get tiring to think about all this all the time? Do you even spend time doing anything else? Alice doesn't respond, though, as he made the rest of the way back to the campsite. He didn't seem to take your question to heart as contemplation crossed his features. He handed Cody the jug as he sealed one of the metal foot boxes. Thanks, Dave. Dinner's still going to take a bit longer. Why don't you both just rest until then? I think I'll get back to work. The longer we let the readings go, the more of a backlog we'll have to go through. We really haven't changed at all. Cody sighed heavily, turning back to his cooking setup, washing his hands and blade before cutting up more of the carcasses. He excused himself from Cody, going back toward the area at the base of the kai where Alex had wandered off to. Coming into view, you see that he's set his uniform aside, continuing his work in just his undershirt. Al? Huh? Oh, Dave, it was just you. We expected someone else? We should get back to work, Dave. We can catch back up before dinner if we... Actually, Alex, I was thinking maybe you should take a break. Well, for we already took a break. That was a break for you? That wasn't even that much time. Look, Dave, this is the entire reason we came out here. We can't slack off. It's not slacking off, Alex. It's taking a rest. Come on. He attempted to pull the tablet from his hands. He held on to it, more out of a fear of it falling and hitting the ground than of you taking it. He gripped it firmly, reassuring him they won't fall as he finally let go. He set the tablet inside the tent, which was set up almost adjacent to the machine on top of one of his equipment crates. What's gotten into you? We were having fun a while ago, and suddenly you're all cold again. Alice winced, avoiding looking you in the eye. In a defeated sigh, Alice threw his hands up in resignation. All right, fine. I'll take a break. The lynx took a few steps away from his setup, only to grab the tablet and began tapping away again, still sitting inside his tent. Seriously, Alex? You said I should take a break, and so I am. Don't you want to get away from all this machinery, though? I'd rather see your reasoning. I'm in my element, Dave. Why don't you get away from it for a while? We do this every day. Alex opened his mouth to argue before thinking better of it. Fine. What would you suggest? Well, he looked around the campsite thinking what best way to pull the lynx away from his work. Why don't we go sit over by the tree line? Why all the way out there? So he can put as much distance between you and work as possible, Alex. You took Alex's hand and tugged for him to follow. What for? What made you so insistent about this, Dave? Something I learned back in my world. People would go out camping to get away from technology in the city. It was called detoxing. What good does that do? What will you need to get away from technology? Just try it while we're here. This looks like a perfect spot. You let go of Alice's hand, sitting down at the base of the tree. He gave you a fixed look as he patted the dirt beside him for him to sit with you. He rolled his eyes, but still complied, having already followed you this far. Now what? No, you just take it all in. The lynx looked at you as if trying to figure out what you were referring to specifically. It's just a forest, Dave. What is there to take in? The forest, that's really all there is to it. The two of you sat in silence for a while, listening to the sounds of nature, the gentle drum of the Akai's barrier compared to one in town. You close your eyes, take it in, recalling how you and Carl we have days walking around the college's parks. We grew tired of staring at screens all day. Yeah, both still remember his words, getting some time away from assignments, online drama, or a hobby that had turned stressful. The sound of suffering got your attention, thinking Alice had gotten up to go back to camp. This is so boring. I should have brought my pillow from the tent. Could at least lay down on it. Oh, if you want to lay down, could just use my lap. Your lap? Are you serious? Yeah, go ahead. I don't mind. Shit, fine. but only because you're offering. Don't start complaining if you regret it now. Sure, sir. Comfortable? It's acceptable, I guess. You let out a rueful laugh as you rest your palm over the side of his head. Hmm, you're squishing my face, you know. You can put it away, you know. No, that's what I thought. That seemed to settle the matter as Alex rested his hair on your leg, his cheeks puffed up from what you could see. Returning to the quiet respite, you let your fingers idly ruffle through his fur, eliciting an annoyed grumble. You kept at it, the reluctant grousing turning into reluctant purring. His body's tension loosened as the weight on your leg felt softer, his posture looser as he leaned into your touch. In that moment you seemed to forget everything, focusing only on the purring under your hand, just wanted to keep him as placid and satisfied for as long as possible. Dave, yeah? Thanks. This is nicer than I thought. Anytime, Alex. The lynx busied his idle hands while he laid on you, scratching at the healthy grass beneath you. He tried to speak up about something before second guessing himself and returning to his idle culling of the grass. You hadn't even noticed the sun going down behind you or the repeated calls to dinner until someone came to get you. So this is where you two lovebirds have been, huh? Oh. Anyway, why? Well there, sorry for scaring you, Al. Chloe's been calling you two for dinner for a while, started making us worry. Right, dinner. I completely forgot. I'll say, you seem really into whatever it is you guys were doing. Whatever it is you thought it wasn't that. It wasn't you two cuddling and petting. Was it something more spicy before I got here? Why, every single time. Alice left in a huff, trying to push Ray aside with the dragon only getting nuts as the lynx made his way back to camp. Come on, Al, I was just joking. He called out to the feline, trying to hold back his laughter with a snort. He made way to follow after Alex, only to be caught by the dragon's arm. Hey, Dave, I want to talk to you real quick. Uh-huh, what is it, Ray? The dragon took you by both shoulders, leveling to see you eye to eye. You never seen the dragon this serious out of the blue before, not since the incident the week prior. If you plan on getting closer to Alex, I want you to be serious about him. What? Ray dug his claws into your shoulders, not enough to pierce your clothes, but enough to let you know how serious he was. Alex is important to all of us. I won't forgive you if you hurt him. Got it? Of course I do. I'm not just egging him around. Well, for what it's worth, I'll hold you to that, Dave. Come on. We can't let Cody's cooking go to waste. Fresh meat is best enjoyed hot. Right, behind you, right? Jeez, what's that all about? As you return to camp, you notice Max and Cody by the fire. The bear had a rather displeased look on his face. The lynx passed by the pit as he briefly retreated to his tent before joining by your side, with his jacket back on. You're right. Sorry, Cody. Cody's been calling out for you both for a while now. Where have you guys been? We were just taking a break. Didn't realize how much time's gone by. Yeah, I found them by the tree line a bit further away from camp. Oh, alright then. At least you didn't run too far off. How are you holding up, Alex? Decent, I suppose. Dave's idea of taking a break is not so bad after all. I can only do you well to cook. It can only do you well to cool off from work, like I said. Well, now that we're all here, let's dig in. Your Flores the bear plopped 5 plates with steamed rice, pour into the steaming aromatic, carry onto it as they would pass around to each of you. Alongside that, he produced a flat board A side dish is for everyone to take. He's never had fish and curry before, and Cody somehow made it work. It felt hard to believe for you, given the variety of fish mets that you brought back. The typical overpowering, fishy stench you expected was not present at all. Instead, the fish meats were rendered tender and very flavorful in the curry. This was looking to be quite the hearty and filling meal after all. Just like that morning, the group ate between bouts of rowdy behavior amongst themselves. Mostly jokes and chats between Max and Ray. Then came the occasional flustered quips from Alice and Cody, offering everyone more food. It's getting late. I'll take first watch, Max. You don't have to, right? It was a time. Yeah, but you always take first watch out of duty. Let me take care of it this time. You go rest up. I'll come get you when I get tired. Here, right. Stay safe out there. Sure will. But you better come save me if something does happen. You two should go to bed too. I'll take care of the fire and the leftovers. Alright, thanks, Cody. You can go ahead and sleep, Dave. You're done enough for the day. I think I'll be pulling another all-nighter. Even here, if anything happens to the calibration device overnight, we might end up having to stay another night. Pretty much, don't worry, Dave. With that cat nap I had earlier, I feel pretty energized. I'll just make sure everything keeps running. If that's the case, I'll stay up and help you. That'll make things easier for everyone in the long run. I'll appreciate that, my little test subject. Cody chuckled, hearing you both accord on staying up. I'll bring you both a pot of coffee before I head to bed then. Thanks, Cody. Shall we? We shall. You both made your way back to the base of the kite. Alex promptly put aside his uniform as he reached for his note and tablet again. Why don't you bring your bedroll over here? Want to put our beds together? Yes, that way we can both be near an event something happens. Something like what? Something less questions, more asked. If you say so, Alex. You headed back to your tent to grab the bedroll before returning to Alex's, who was already monitoring the machines once again. Placing the bedroll close by his, he quickly joined the links and resuming at work as he passed the tablet to you to take more notes. You both worked diligently for what felt like hours into the night. Alex seemed pleased with all the findings, even if you couldn't make heads or tails of what anything meant. Eventually, you said goodnight to him as he felt your entire weight crashing against your bedroll, falling asleep seconds after. To be continued. Alright, so that was day 13 for Alex. We got quite a warning from Ray. Kind of out of character over him, but he's very serious with what's the name of him? He's quite serious about Alex being treated good, and that he basically gave Dave a warning there. Hey, treat Alex good. Be serious with him. Apparently, Alex must have had something happen to him in the past. You know, yeah, like whoever he was before they have a serious relationship. So we got quite the warning there from Ray. Though they could have done it without gripping onto Dave's shoulders like that. So about Alex, he very much is dedicated to his work, and Dave kept wanting Alex to take a break and take a breather. And it was something that Alex needed. He needed a break. Now, I think he's like a workaholic. He's very dedicated to his work, so I think he doesn't really get tired from his work. I mean, well, he does get tired from the work, but not the same way. Like, you get tired, you get so tired that you just want to rest. I mean, you get tired when you're doing something, but it's so fun to you that you keep doing it even if it makes you tired. I don't think Alex was quite as tired as anybody would be if they did the amount of work he did, because he's very dedicated to his work and he's constantly trying to discover something. He wants to figure out how to make society better, how to make things more convenient. So that curious part of him, that determination he has, is what makes him keep going, even if he does get tired, as well as a cup of coffee. So I understand Dave wanted to give Alex, trying to encourage Alex to have a break, but I can also understand Alex being dedicated to his work so much that he doesn't want to stop. So we covered day 13 for both Ray and Alex. We did day 13 for Max last time, so the only character left to have a day 13 is Cody, and they will be done. So, thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.